In the week since my last video, I spent 10 days in Nebraska with my family for Thanksgiving, before slowly starting to make my way south and east, driving 800 miles across Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, and Kentucky. During this 2-week period, I have had 2 Harmonic Egg sessions. And prior to both sessions, I took the time to energetically tune in to each egg, channeling the messages they wanted to share, and I received some really incredible insight. I want to share those messages along with my personal experiences I've had so far in working with the eggs on my own journey. Now, if you're totally new to what a harmonic egg is, let me give you a little background. These egg-shaped healing chambers were conceived and designed by Gail Lynn after she experienced deep healing through sound and light therapy in her own life. The egg is an immersive healing chamber that integrates light and sound with sacred geometry and Tesla mathematics, bringing ancient wisdom about frequency healing into our modern culture. I first learned about the harmonic eggs a few years ago through Gail's sister, who is a member of my Earth Tenders Academy community. And this year, I had my first egg session back in June. I'll add a link to my interview with Gail if you'd like to see our in-depth discussion. So as I've been sharing about the harmonic egg more, many of you have shared with me that you have booked sessions and reached out to share about them. I've also received a few messages from people asking how can they better work with the egg. And as I've been going and meeting these different eggs, I've been tuning in and connecting with them and asking for their advice and asking more about them. So I'm happy to share the insight that they have been sharing with me. So far I have visited 4 different harmonic eggs: Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, Post Falls, Idaho, Kemmerer, Wyoming, and Lenexa, Kansas, which is just outside of Kansas City. Now, while each one has its own unique personality, I have noticed that they usually talk to me in a we kind of way and are referring to the fact that they're all connected within a network and they're acting as a collective consciousness. And when I asked the egg in Wyoming specifically why it was referring to itself as we, it explained that every egg is an energy portal. And while the egg is acting as a sentient being in and of itself, it's also acting as a high-frequency quantum energy device that is allowing for the easy passage of beings in and out of this plane to come into the healing chamber to work with us. Now, this actually makes perfect sense to me because I've worked with portals extensively over my years of working with the land and have come to understand that portals act on a frequency. They aren't necessarily good, bad, or otherwise. They're just existing at different levels of frequency. And those frequencies can become higher or lower over a period of time depending on how the portal is being used. Now, because these eggs are super high frequency devices, they're really only aligning with high frequency beings to come into the egg. In order to move through a portal, you have to be able to vibrate at the same frequency of that portal or higher. And so it's really like having a key to unlock the door to get into a portal. Not just any being can come into any portal. So if you are hearing this and you're having concerns about, well, how do I know what beings are going to come into the portal? It's only going to be beings that can match that high frequency that these eggs are holding. And the reason that they're holding that high frequency, not just because of the experience that's being created, although that's a big part of it, but the sound, the light, the sacred geometry, all of that goes together to create and hold a high frequency. In addition, whatever intentions that you set and intentions the egg guardian sets before they close the door will very much color the energy and the experience that you'll have within the egg. And so this egg explained to me specifically that when we are held in this very geometric womb-like space, it really allows energies like our higher selves and our trusted guides to help us come back into alignment. And we're in a state in which we can receive healing and maybe even where things that we might call miracles could occur. Now, the egg really stressed to me the importance of having our clear consent. So in general, we could go into the egg and set no intentions and just kind of be open to whatever might happen. And healing would still occur. It would still, the egg and the beings would still be able to work on you in a general sense. But being really, really specific and giving your consent for these beings, including the egg, to work on you, will really supercharge the experience you're going to have inside the egg. Now, in the egg session that I had in Wyoming, it was really fascinating to me because I've had a variety of different experiences now, some of which are more like shamanic journeys, some which are more like maybe a deep Reiki session where you're just deeply relaxed, not totally asleep, but definitely kind of tuned out. And in this session, I actually specifically set my intentions for nervous system repair. I was feeling very, very out of balance with my nervous system. I hadn't been sleeping. I wasn't eating well. I just really, really needed some nervous system regulation. And that was my intention. And that's what I was clear about wanting in that session. And after the door was shut and I laid there for a minute or two listening to the relaxing music, I really consciously said in my mind that the beings had my clear consent to come in and work on me according to my intentions. And as soon as I did that, I could feel these beings come into the egg and start to work on me. And the next thing I knew, the session was over and the door was opening. I wasn't just asleep. It was like they took me offline to perform surgery on my energetic body, on my nervous system, and I was out. I have no memory at all after the first probably 5 minutes in the egg. And sure enough, within the days after the egg, I started sleeping a little bit more and a little bit more, and really received an even deeper message that part of my lack of sleep was due to the lack of food that I was consuming, and that the more that I could eat, the better I was going to sleep. And so I really focused on that. And I'd say within a week after being in the egg, I was at least back to where I was sleeping 6 to 7 hours a night. And now, a few weeks later, I'm more consistently sleeping 8 hours a night again. And remember, while healing can happen on a quantum level and happen instantly, we're still incarnated in these physical bodies, and sometimes it can take some time for our physical body and for our minds to catch up to the healing that happened instantaneously. And that also goes for that initial session that I had back in June. While I had some insights after that first session, it's really only been recently, 6 months after that session, where I'm really understanding the journey that I was taken on by my guides during that egg session. So give yourself time to integrate whatever it is that happens in your session and to really let it land in your body and let it land in your energetic body and see what comes out over a period of time. Now, 2 weeks after my session with the egg in Wyoming, I was in Kansas City. And when I tuned into that egg before my session, it showed itself to me like a tree. The egg was in the middle and it had roots extending down into the earth, and it had a pillar of light coming from above it into the egg. And I remarked that it seemed really similar to how I picture myself when I'm tuning in to connect with spirit, really grounded into the earth and calling source energy in from above. And the egg agreed and right away said, yes, I'm just like you. And she wanted to point out that she is a being of the earth, just like we are. And then she referred to herself as an earthling. Even though she's not a human being, she is a being of the earth. And she's based in organic technology, just like we are. And so because of that, when our frequencies and our energies meet, when we go inside the eggs are really able to merge with our field and detect any anomalies or anything that's out of balance and make adjustments to that. Now, this egg added on to this idea of clear consent and actually wanted to talk deeper about the idea of belief and the importance of our beliefs. Because when we trust and believe that the egg can work, that belief can help shift the energies even easier. She specifically said, you have no idea the power of your belief. And then she showed me an image of the very end of the movie Elf, where Santa needs all of the belief of all of the people in the city in order to power the sleigh, and really showing this idea of the energy of belief powering the healing work that is happening in the egg. And as I asked a little bit more about the egg's special capabilities, it wanted to point out to me how, just like us humans, we don't just have one special talent or skill, we have many. We are multidimensional, and the eggs are multidimensional and have many different capabilities in different planes as well. And so outside of the healing work that the eggs are doing with humans, they're also doing a lot of work with the land. And specifically, this egg was showing me how they're able to send their vibration down into the earth and almost act like an acupuncture into the Earth's grid in whatever location they're found. And so in ancient days, where you would have had a stone circle or a megalith type structure that would have focused the energies into the grids, these eggs are doing the same thing in our modern culture. Of course, this was super fascinating to me, and I started asking all kinds of questions about what they were doing and how they were doing it, and she just kind of gave me a playful answer about how the eggs cannot reveal all of their secrets to me because I am, after all, on a journey. So I'll be curious to see how this unfolds the more eggs that I meet. Now, this egg did share a little bit about its specific location in the middle of the country in Kansas City, and that is a bit of a hub in the network of eggs. It was a very grounded and balanced Midwestern energy is very much what she pointed out to me. And specifically pointed out a bit of a hole or a dark spot in the Great Lakes area that is going to come online in the future with the eggs. I know there's already some eggs in that area, but this one specifically wanted me to know there's more coming online in that area, and it's an important part of the energy that this egg is holding. And what's funny is I found out later when I talked to the egg guardian that there's actually 3 new eggs coming online in the Great Lakes area very soon. And so I think this egg just wanted to let me know the importance of the role that it's playing in its connection to that area, and especially its connection to the Earth's grids and how that energy is moving back and forth between them. But she also said that Kansas City is an energy hotspot. You know, much like Salt Lake City that I've worked with a lot, it's sometimes ignored or passed over as an important energy location for favor of places that are more well-known or closer to the coasts. But she really wanted me to know that there is a lot of energy coming online in the Kansas City area, and that the egg's role there is really to help wake more people up, energize more people, energize the grids there so that the people in this area can hold this frequency, this really powerful frequency that's coming online in this part of the country. And so my intention when I went for my session with the Kansas City egg was still, although my nervous system was feeling a little more regulated by then, I really felt called to set my intention for deeper healing on the heart level. And so the guardian picked the appropriate lights and music for that, and it was just a really beautiful session. I did not fall asleep as deeply as I did or get taken offline as I did in the one in the Wyoming egg, but I definitely felt deep rest and continued healing from that egg session as well. So based on the sessions that I've had so far, I would just call out 2 main points if you're looking to book a session for yourself. And the first one, clear consent. You need to be really clear and know ahead of time what it is you would like to work on. It will make an incredible difference in the session that you have. Now, the egg guardian is most likely going to ask you what your intention is. And you know, this can be delicate sometimes, especially you're feeling like you're meeting a stranger for the first time and you're maybe sharing some very private information depending on what your intention is. But as best you can, be really clear and upfront because it helps them to select the right settings in the egg to support your intentions. You don't have to tell them your whole life story. You don't have to go into great detail, but you do need to give enough information about your intention to them so that they can set the stage for the healing session that will most support your intentions. And of course, your trust and belief is a huge part of the process. So even if you're unsure how this all works or why it works or if it should work, just decide that for the session that you are going in for, that you are going to trust and believe in the process and see what happens. So I'll have more egg sessions coming in the future. I will continue to share about them, but I wanted to take this moment to share my experiences so far and the information that the eggs have been sharing with me so far because so many of you have reached out and been curious. So if you're interested in an egg session, you can go to the Harmonic Egg website and see if there is an egg near you. Even if there's not an egg near you, they do remote sessions. So you can reach out to any egg location in the world and ask for a remote session, and you can be at home and receive a session from a Harmonic Egg. Now, I've also heard from some of you that you feel really, really called to be egg guardians, and that is an option as well. Be sure to reach out to the folks over at the Harmonic Egg and let them know if you think that you might want to be bringing a Harmonic Egg to your community. Reach out and start a conversation and see what might be possible in your location. And so my healing journey continues on down the road. I can really feel how the eggs, the land, my ancestors, and my guides have been truly supporting me as I walk this path and begin to think about what comes next for me. For now, I'm slowly making my way southeast, out of the freezing temps and towards the sunshine, where I'll rest for a while after the first of the year. I'll be continuing to share my experiences and insight here as regularly as I can. And if you're just joining me here, there are 2 videos before this one that explain why I'm spending this winter traveling and where I'm headed. Until next time, my deepest gratitude for your love and support.